What up, YouTube? PJ here, this Dog Pound 24/7. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe, hit that like. Good morning. It is pretty chilly here in Western New York this morning. Very, very surprising. But anyway, today's content is going to be on prison release. All right, I had somebody in the comments requesting a video. They have a loved one ready to hit the streets after doing a little stretch. So anything I speak on, people, is from my personal experience only. But before I get into this content, I first and foremost want to thank all my subscribers for their loyalty and dedication to the channel and for all their support. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, people. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a channel. You guys have been awesome with the comments, the support, and, you know, having my back with trolls. And you guys have been awesome. Also, people, if you haven't heard in my videos prior to this, me and the wife are in the process of designing a t-shirt for the channel. Once I hit 1K, people, I am going to be doing a free t-shirt giveaway. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to keep you posted with all the details. Once the ball gets rolling, I will let you guys know. Also, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing this. It's just a suggestion. You know, I'm just doing some thoughts on it. I might change the name of the channel. I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think on that. Give me some ideas, if you know, your opinion on it. I was thinking, since I'm from New York, I came up with, you know, lockdown in New York, something along those lines. Give me some ideas, if I should change it or keep it. Because, people, I wasn't sure which way I was going to go with the channel when I first started. Because Dog Pound, it's part of, you know, it's football, but it can kind of be prison, you know, with the whole Dog Pound. It's kind of, you know, sounds kind of incarceration, you know, but let me know. Give me your thoughts and your opinion on it. But let's get into this, people. This morning's topic is going to be on incarceration, as when you're being released from prison. Somebody's, you know, was requesting it in the comments because they have a loved one ready to hit the streets. So I'm going to give you my personal experience on being released from prison, all right, to be successful, and what somebody can expect from the street if they have a loved one, you know, or a friend, you know, coming home. So here's what worked for me, people. You got to come home. When you're about to be released from prison, you have to set yourself up with some goals. That's number one. Because if you do not set yourself up with some goals, you're going to hit some speed bumps. And you want something to, you know, strive for when you get released from prison. You want to be able to work for something, to feel good about yourself. Because if you're just hitting the street and you don't have something to look forward to, it's a shitty feeling. So the goals don't have to be big at all. They can be small goals. You got to crawl before you walk. It depends on the person, depends on your situation. So for me, when I left prison, I had, you know, very few goals, and they were basic goals. And my one goal for me was rebuilding relationships, people. Because before I went to prison, I burned a lot of bridges, people. I was a loose cannon. You know, and like I said, I mean, we all have burned bridges, and a majority of us, if you've gone to prison, you weren't doing the right thing. You've probably violated a lot of people, and that's one of the things I had to do. You know, I hurt a lot of friends and family, but you got, when it comes to building relationships, people, you have to understand too, it doesn't happen overnight. All right, because it comes with honesty, and actions speak louder than words. So don't expect, if you're coming home, to shit change overnight, because it's not going to happen. People will keep you at arm's length for quite some time, and that's expected. You can't expect somebody to just, you know, think you're a changed man and all your ways have changed, because they're so used to your, you know, previous behavior with the manipulation, the lying, the dishonesty, the cheating, the everything, you know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to understand. So don't come home thinking you're gonna these people are your loved ones or friends or family are going to think you're this changed man right off the rip, because that's not the case. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication to prove yourself and to prove that you're an honest man. Secondly is employment. You want to get yourself a job, people. At least for me, I don't like relying on people. I don't want to feel like a burden to people. I don't want to have people, because when you come home on parole, you're going to have to hit some programs. Parole wants you to do programs, either if it's drug programs, anger management programs, it could be father program or parenting programs, whatever. It could be anything. And you have appointments, and you don't want to rely on your family. I mean, some of you will have to, won't have a choice in the matter, or some people don't have that. When it comes to me, I just don't like being a burden, people, and a lot of you probably feel the same way. So, and it's going to be tough for a lot of people if you don't have a good background with a trade or a work history. It might be a little tougher to get a job, but people, let me tell you, with a lot of hard work and dedication, you can put your mind to anything you want, and you will get a job. I promise you that. As long as you're working your ass off on doing it, anybody can get employment. And if, like I said, if you do not have a strong background with a trade or have a lot of work history, find ways to do it. Build a resume, and it could be using your skills from what you've done in prison. If you did a trade in prison, and or any sort of education you did in prison, that you can throw that towards employment too when you hit the street. But people, there's jobs for everybody. So don't be offended when I say this. I don't buy that bullshit when you can say, oh, I'm a felon and there ain't shit out there for me, because that's bullshit. There's a job for everybody. Yeah, you ain't going to come home and start making six figures. Don't expect that, because a lot of people, if you don't have a work background or an education, you're not going to be making that. But you got to start somewhere. Like I said, you got to crawl before you walk. You got to build yourself up the ladder. I was fortunate when I came home, because before I went to prison, I had an education. I went to trade school as an electrician. My brother runs his own business the last 20 years for residential commercial electrician companies. So I was fortunate. But the flip side of that was a relationship I had to rebuild, was with my brother. But he did give me employment, and I was very fortunate, thankful for that. And my brother's always looked out for me, and I was fortunate on that, people. But there's a lot of work out there. You can even further your education when you hit the street. There's no excuses that you can't afford it, because there's a lot of programs out there with financial aid and other programs within your county to help you afford an education. Plus, there's a lot of, if you're financially tight, you can find programs, for trades that are pretty much free to further your education. So there's ways out there, people. So don't use it as an excuse that you can't afford it, because there's ways to do it. There's ways to better yourself. It just takes a lot of work and dedication. It's hard work, people. A lot of us, convicts are very sensitive people, and we've always wanted the easy way. It's facts, people. But it's time to buckle down and, work your ass off. Things are not easy in life, and you have to realize that. So don't get discouraged, people. There's work out there for you. Like I said, you're not going to be making six figures right off the rip, so don't expect that. You got to crawl before you walk. You got to work yourself up the ladder within companies or any business that you find employment with. You're not going to start off, if you have no work experience, making $20-25 an hour. It's not going to happen. So don't expect that. The other goal that I had for myself was changing people, places, and things, people. Yes, the good old changing people, places, and things. We have all heard that, but it is true. You have to. If you do not change those, you are going to end up back down the same road and repeating old habits and behaviors, and you're going to end up back in prison. I am a firm believer in that. And before, I used to try to do 2 out of the 3, 1 out of the 3. No, you got to change all 3. People, if you don't, it's just going to you're going to screw yourself, people. Because just think of this. An example, you come home, this dude you used to rock the streets with or do dirt with, he's still doing the same behaviors as before you went to prison. What do you think's going to happen? You start fucking around with him. Excuse my language, but what do you think's going to happen, people? Exactly. You're going to end up back in old habits, old ways, doing some dirt. You're going to get trapped off. It's not going to work, people. Those people didn't give a fuck about you. 9 times out of 10, you didn't even hear from them when you were incarcerated, right? So what's the big deal? Why is it so important to start kicking with them again in the first place? So places, same thing. You got to change your places that you were, your old stomping grounds. The reason why you got to change those because you're going to run back into those people that are going to drag you down. It all these tie into one. That's what I mean. When you can't do just 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3, you got to change them all. So, I had to avoid a lot of places when I first came home because, like I said, you go to these places, you're going to run into old associates that you used to, I don't even call them friends, I call them associates, You're going to run into these people that were just doing dirt and didn't give a fuck about you, and then you're going to get wrapped up. And when they see you, I love it. Oh, yo, PJ, where you been, my man? You're home? Oh, shit, let's kick it. This, that. Nah. That's some fake ass shit right there. I have no reason, nothing. And the funny thing is that I've realized, people, that with these people, I have nothing in common with them no more. If you're doing the right thing and they're doing the wrong thing, you will have nothing in common with them anyways. So that's a firm believer, people. The biggest thing is you have to be honest with yourself. To change all these things, you can't half-ass it. It takes a full-in, all-in behavior to successfully live a life and live an honest life. Because, people, I'll be the first to tell you, I was one of the biggest manipulator bullshit artists you'll ever meet, all right? But today I can honestly say I'm an honest man, all right? My family they trust me. They're all in on me. They have the last 8 years. I've worked at my ass off for what I have today. And it's just facts, people. It's hard work. And when you come home, man, let me tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't have a pot to piss in. I didn't have shit. And it was really discouraging at the time. But, I knew with hard work, you can do anything you put your mind to, people. So stop with the bullshit, making excuses that we're felons, this, that, and the third, because we all can get jobs, we all can get an education. It just takes hard work. Like I said, I didn't have a pot to piss in, people. So with hard work and dedication, like I said, I didn't have shit when I came home. I didn't have a driver's license because I owed probably about $2,000 in fines and restitution with certain shit, and I had to pay all that back, and it took a while because I just couldn't come up with $2,000 right off the rip to pay all my fines. I had to take care of a family at the same time, so it took a while to get it back, but I got it back, people, and I got my license back. I got a home, I got cars, trucks. I'm very, very thankful. It isn't much, people, but it's a lot compared to what I used to have, and this is what I'm working with now. All right, there's the car right there, and there's my truck, people. That's my truck right there, a new truck. That's me right there. All right, so yeah, I'm working with that. There's the home right there. It's not much, but I own it, and it feels good from when you've had nothing. So, people, you can do it. You put your mind to it, and a lot of hard work and dedication will get you that. Now, people, I'm going to flip this around, okay? This is going to be for people that are having people coming home, all right? What to expect and what to do and how to support them, all right? Because you got to remember, people, that if you have loved ones or a friend coming home, you have to remember we're sensitive people. We've always felt the world was against us, and you have to be patient with us, because you have to remember, like I've already mentioned, a lot of us probably don't have an education when we first come home, or we don't have a lot of work history, and we're felons. So if you expect it, if you're having a parolee come to your house to get on their feet. Like, it could be a while before they find employment, because you have to remember we're felons, and especially right now with the COVID-19, it's a lot harder to get a job. So as long as you see them out there hitting the pavement, putting in that work, putting in them applications online and in person, be patient, people. Don't get on their ass, because once you get on their ass, you're gonna, it could be it depends on the person. I mean, if you get on their ass, start riding their ass about things, they'll get the fuckets, and because they'll bring on stress, pressure, and it's an uncomfortable feeling, and they're not used to that. So try to be supportive and understand that. Also, you want to keep in mind, and the biggest thing is, you don't want to enable them either. Enable them is just not going to do anything for them. Make sure they're doing the work themselves, because it's building character. Hard work builds good character, so remember that. But do not, like I said, enable them is just going to only make it worse for them. You're not going to better them. Just be supportive. That's the main thing. I can't say that anymore. I stress that enough on that. And as long as they're doing the work, people, and you're seeing a change, that's all that should matter. But if you start seeing them doing old habits, and you don't feel they're being honest with you, put them in check. All right, call them out on their bullshit. Don't put up with that shit. All right, and don't let them tell you otherwise. It's they're staying at your pad. You were nice enough to let them parole to your house, and you expect certain things. So keep them in check. But if you see them doing the right thing, be patient, and that's pretty much it. You gotta understand too. Don't expect for when we come home that especially if we've done a little stretch. Don't expect after doing a long time, they're going to want to go out and do a lot of things, because you got to remember, a lot of shit has changed with modern day technology, just different things. When you're incarcerated, I remember when I came home and the old lady wanted to go do a lot of things. I remember I had anxiety about a lot of different things, being around a lot of people, big groups of people. It's so you got to remember that, and you got to be patient, take things slow. Like I said, you got to crawl before you walk, and that's with everything. All right, especially if you did a stretch, because you got to remember that before I went to prison, cell phones weren't really that big. Okay, they were still the old Nokia's type, little flip phones, shit like that. All right, I come home, there's touch screens, there's iPads, all that good shit. So technology's changed in 6 years, over 6 years. So the style of clothing. When I was in the street, the thing was baggy clothes. Now everybody's wearing tight clothes, and it was just odd, because when you're incarcerated, you don't see all that. So just be patient with people. I know I had a hard time going into grocery stores. Everything seemed fast, bright, and everything takes a while to get used to again. So don't expect your loved one or friend to want to go out all the time, because everything in prison is enclosed. Like everything is smaller compared to this big world out here. So they're not going to want to go out to, like, example, like go to a football game or something with all them type of people there. It's a large environment, a lot of people, a lot of screaming and yelling. That could be uncomfortable for somebody like us. So don't get upset if they don't want to do things like that right off the rip and do all these things, because it can cause a lot of anxiety and depression, stuff like that. My biggest thing is, people, if you got loved ones coming home, just be patient, make sure they're doing the right thing, and everything should be fine. Everything should fall into place. Help them set them up. You can help people by setting them up with jobs, this, that, and the third, but you got to make sure they're doing the work. Do not enable somebody. It's the worst thing you can do for us, is enable us, because then we'll never get on our feet and do shit ourselves. And that's true, people. And do not let them manipulate you. If you see bullshit, call them out on it. That's the other thing, because that's old habits. Because we, as convicts, used to love to manipulate people and to get what we want. Don't buy that shit, nip in the butt right off the rip. But that's it, people. That's how I was successful when I came home. All right, you gotta have goals. That's key to come home. Small goals, they don't have to be big goals, so you get, overwhelmed with shit. Because once you get overwhelmed and you feel like the world's on your shoulders, you get a case of the fuckets, and the fuckets will lead you back to the pen. Remember that. And just people, keep small goals. You gotta crawl before you walk. And people, the thing is, if you don't have an education, which you should have been getting when you were inside, but if you don't, you get it. It's the greatest feeling in the world, people. You feel like you accomplished something, and then you'll feel like you're worthy of something. So do small little goals. When you're successful with these little goals, and you accomplish these little goals, you're like, no shit, I can do this. You start feeling really good about yourself, and then you start making bigger goals for yourself. Do not come out with these goals thinking you're going to make 6 figures, because it's not going to happen. Then you're going to get discouraged. And then you're going to get the case of the fuck. It's small goals, people. And the number one thing, I can't stress it enough, is be honest with yourself and others. That's key. That's key to building relationships. That's key to changing. That's key to being successful, is honesty. Remember that. People, I'm going to close with that. I hope everybody's staying free, safe, and corona-free. And if I've missed anything in this video, please throw them in the comments below if you think it will help somebody. Or if you have a request on some content that you'd like me to drop, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I truly appreciate it. And if you already haven't, please hit that subscribe, hit that like, and if you want, share the video. Everybody have a great day and stay free and safe. Yeah.